It is blowing a gale outside today. A tree nearly landed on my friend's car today, guys. Really bad. Hi guys, how's it going? What? Hello, doing a review. Hi guys, it's absoltely. How's everyone doing? Good. Today I am reviewing my first ever review by Parfumerie Generale. I've recently come across this line. I've recently started to discover all of them. There are a lot. There are about 40. But since it's a new year and it's my first ever review by this brand, I thought I would start at the beginning, which is 02 and it's called Cozé. I don't know why there isn't a 01. I think maybe Pierre Guillaume was just thinking, I don't need to have a number 1, I'm going to start at number 2 and be really cool and extra all about it. But I've discovered quite a few of them and I wanted to start with the first one in the line. So, Cozé, which in French I am told means daring, or this is daring, or I don't know, something along those lines anyway. So this fragrance is themed on, because it's his first fragrance, he wanted to do it as an ode to his grandfather, or his father I think it was, and more importantly, or more specifically, he wanted it to be an ode to the smell of his cigar box. So it's a very woody, it's a very spicy fragrance. It came out in 2002, which is weird because it's 02 as well, and it's an oriental woody fragrance overall. That's the categorically so that's the overall theme. So I'm going to go through the notes with you. I've read them in a lot of places. All of them seem to match, but they're kind of jumbled up as to where they sit, so I'm just going to list them. So one of the notes is Canapa sativa seed oil, otherwise known as Indian hemp or cannabis oil. Whichever way you want to look at it, it comes from the sativa plant or cannabis plant, so it's got that in there. I've also read that it has cohiba in it, which is either a cigar or a particular type of blonde tobacco, because it definitely has tobacco in it, and he did want to theme it on this cigar box from his childhood, the smells from his childhood memories. It also has patchouli, spices of a nondescript nature, but I definitely smell particular ones, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. Pepper, which is a spice anyway, coffee, chocolate, pimento, and vanilla. So there's quite a lot going on, so let me spray it on my hand. I have worn this on 5 separate occasions now, and yeah, I spray it on myself whenever I can because I'm trying to learn it, basically. So when you first put this on, it's really apparent straight away how dry this fragrance is. This is a massive rush of woods and spices, and the spices that aren't listed jump out at me. There is 1 or 2 in particular that I can safely say are definitely in here because they pretty much overtake at first. And the main one to me is nutmeg. I can really smell nutmeg in here. It reminds me of when I grated nutmeg before for various things that I've cooked. Nutmeg in itself is a very woody aroma. It's also very dry as well, so it's just adding to the overall dry spiciness of this fragrance. It's really cool, but there is some really strong woods pushing straight through as well. I've read in certain places that this has ebony in it, which is that wood does not mess around. It does not mess around. It's a really intense wood, and this has got all of that going on. It's peppery, there's a rich dark brown feeling to it, but it's on the drier edge, and then patchouli is just really tying everything together. It's not giving it a really green feeling, it's giving it an almost peppery woody feeling. It's really strange, but really cool as well. It does kind of feel a little bit masculine to me. We're leaning more towards masculine, I would say, because of all of the things that are in there, but I mean, you know, rock it, who cares? I always say that, it doesn't matter. So you can't really smell the tobacco side of it straight away. It's really all about the woods and spices first, and it really is that. I can smell the edges of cloves sometimes as well, but it's really mainly about this nutmeg at first, with a real massive dark punch of woods that are very intense and very realistic, I would say. So it's almost got that, you can feel the shavings of the wood in this one, as opposed to it being a kind of nondescript woody tone of a fragrance. This is really showcasing wood and spices very well. talking about this hemp, I'm not sure I get a whole bunch of that. I don't feel that kind of feeling from it. I can feel something that's a little bit resin-like in it, but I'm not sure what it is. It's not a kind of green resin at all. It's kind of sitting in the background, and it's like it's almost just coating the spices. But the way this feels to me is basically like everything in it is just on the cusp of being scorched. So every single note in this is like it is almost just been flamed a little bit, and it's just turning onto the burnt side, and that's really interesting, and not something I think that I would personally wear, but you know, or buy, I should say, because I have worn it. I just mean bottle. Is it bottle worthy for me? Not really, because it's not my style in that way, but it does feel almost kind of burnt. Another thing I wanted to mention is that's slightly strange is that because this is based on a cigar box or a tobacco box, I thought the tobacco would be much more super prominent, and it only really reveals itself to me in a light way when it's very dry. The nutmeggy thing kind of wears off a little bit after a while, and this blonde tobacco does kind of come through towards the end, but really it's about spices and wood as opposed to tobacco, which is kind of off theme a little bit, but I don't know what he smelled. It's not my memory, it's his. Pierre Guillaume, that is. PG, Parfumerie Generale, Pierre Guillaume. Yeah, he's the guy behind it all. I get a medium longevity out of this one. The full-on spicy bit at the beginning is really potent, it's really projectile, and you really kind of know that you're wearing a spicy fragrance, but when it dries, it's kind of more manageable when it dries, and I get about 5-6 hours from it, when it's full on, and then at least 8 to 9 after that, where it's kind of coming a bit closer and it's more tobacco-y, a little bit warmer, less aggressive, and that's pretty much all I can say about it. I don't think it changes super much from wet to dry, but it really has got quite a spectacular opening in terms of a rush of spices and woods. Whoa. Anyway, that's my review, that's all I can say. That was it, I've reviewed the first one from the Parfumerie Generale line. I hope you guys liked it. I'm Absolutely, click my logo down there to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. Goodbye.